Everyone.
Yeah, welcome in to the Plague Puppets YouTube channel. Massimo is back with us today, so we're happy to have him back to join us for these live streams. Getting back into the render of the pilot and working on some visual effects here with John. We'll check out some of what we have and share his screen. We have some rain going on, which is which is really interesting. A lot of great effects that we're trying to tweak. But yeah, looking good. So sorry we've been offline for a couple weeks, just chipping away. But welcome aboard.
All right, yeah. John, why don't you? So we have added rain effect, which is a particle effect. It looks pretty good, and we can see that the surfaces are getting wet. Can you take us through a little bit?
Sure. So yeah, we didn't design it from scratch. It's a setup we got, but yeah. So it's a particle system creating the rain, and then it has a 3 wet maps for each direction. One for X, Z, Y, and Z. Currently we have it set so that there's 2 different systems you can use. One uses a material override.
Bless you.
Excuse me. So you could see that's what we have on the whole set right now. From a distance, it's very convincing, but as soon as you get close up, you can kind of see that it's fake. Which of course both of them are going to be fake too, but it's not real rain, but but you know, it's not as convincing. But yeah, we're gonna, for close-up shots, we're gonna use a little bit of a more complicated system where you actually add some nodes to each material that's in the foreground, and then it'll actually make every material itself look wet, as opposed to just sort of faking that it's wet. So yeah, it'll be pretty cool. Right now, the other system's a little more intensive, so we haven't added that in yet, just so that way we'll probably put that towards, you know, a little closer to the end.
Yeah, can you
designing, we can.
Cool. Let's stay fixed on the puppet. Go close back. You know, and try see if you can move a little slower.
Sure.
So I see that the rain effect creates droplets on the puppet, right? Go close to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah. So yep. And again, it's basically just kind of changing the area around the material, so it looks a little like rain, but yeah, when we actually have it on each material, it's gonna actually produce like a real wet look, which will be pretty cool. So the puppet will have its own thing, and yeah, it doesn't do the best. We'll probably have to make some specific edits to certain materials. Like this will definitely need some work, but yeah, I think it's gonna look pretty cool.
Can you try to enable and disable the wet effect on the puppet?
Sure.
Just to see the difference here.
Yeah, so this will turn it off. Yeah, so these are the wet maps that are material overrides, really.
It definitely affects the look and feel and the lighting a bit too. So that's something that we'll work on. Oh, hello, little peppers.
Yeah, we tried to boost the lighting quite a bit, as you can see, without the rain effect.
It makes everything darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we'll probably just, amplify and intensify those lights a little bit more so it doesn't get too dark out there.
Yeah.
We haven't really gotten into final lighting. For the most part, what we've done is mainly practical lighting. So we have the street lamps and all the porch lights and things like that on the houses in the neighborhood, just so we can see them in the distance. But
Yeah.
other than that, we kind of just have one or two generic lights right now, sort of an overhead skylight. We had a little spotlight following Enid for a while, just so we could see her while she was working. Yeah, we'll fine tune that once we have the rain. Then we'll go back for final
Yeah.
lighting path.
Very cool. Very cool. So I add
Totally.
the rain back in, the wet
Yeah.
effect. And is that nope.
Yeah. There we go.
So what feature, what Unreal feature is that? What is an overlay? Is it something that they just you can use to paint on top of existing
Yeah,
asset?
they're decals. So yeah, they can add detail on top of existing materials.
Oh, I see, I
So
see.
yeah, it's almost like a layer in Photoshop or something.
Uh-huh. And so it's kind of like an extra texture on top of it, maybe?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like in Photoshop, how you can keep layering, you can kind of do the same with this by using decals and just keep
Uh-huh.
stacking decals on top, and they'll usually just be kind of uh, like a transparent plane that can just whatever and often the thing itself has a little bit of opacity too, so it'll yeah, really
Uh-huh.
act very much like a layer in Photoshop.
And so how do you apply to specific objects? Because I was looking on the outliner there. So you got four
So this it basically just is here, hold on. So yeah, it's well, so this is the particles,
yeah.
and then these are the decals. It puts it in all of the directions. So there's a Y plane,
Oh, I see. That's what you meant. I see.
X plane, Y plane, and Z plane.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And do we still have, John, just like a little cloud of rain that's in the center of the scene, right? So we don't have to render as much in the background in the distance?
Yeah, I actually expanded it a little bit, but just
Cool.
now actually. But although I'll have to redo that.
Well,
I
it's
see.
Be safe. But
similar to live action in the sense where you have rain towers, if you're on location shooting or on the back lot somewhere, and just depending on, camera angles and how much depth you need, is you'd move around those rain towers with the water truck. So we're kind of
Yeah.
doing the same thing here in 3D, where instead of making the entire environment have to stack up with all that rain, we can just keep it within the foreground of the camera and the characters enough to get that in shot, but not have to have it.
exactly. Yeah, and the wet maps, on the other hand, can go through the entire thing.
Yeah.
I think that I forget exactly how far they looks like they go. I think that may be the end of it right there.
Cool.
So, yeah, I think this line is the wet map.
So that way it's just easier to control the volume of the rain and the density of it, if you're isolating it to just within that that foreground, middle ground area. I think that'll do the trick. We also don't want too much of a heavy rain, so we don't want it dumping and it's the middle of a huge storm. So we'll probably lighten it up a little bit, but yeah, we just don't want it to get too dense, so we can see the.
Oh, you can. I'm assuming you can change the the density, make it more rainy or less rainy.
Yep, for sure. We're
And
actually this is using so this is the system we got, but we're actually I think gonna redesign the particle system from scratch. I think Alex is gonna help us with that.
John, go a little
Uh,
bit slower when you move around. It is it's a little bit of a dizzying effect.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, this is actually using a cascade particle system, which is actually kind of an outdated system, but this was a good kind of starting point for us. And then we're gonna kind of, I think we'll redesign the rain with Niagara, which is Unreal's current
yeah,
particle system, which is it's a lot more versatile and it's just way better and it's also more efficient too.
cool.
So
And then another cool thing we can do, and we're mainly going to use this in the horizon line shot looking down the road as Enid runs out into traffic, but we're able to give it a little bit of a wind out there in the environment so we could actually have the angles of the rain coming down to a certain direction if we want. So that'll be nice. So it'll create a little bit of a sort of a speed line effect
right.
in the foreground of a couple of these shots.
Yeah, we could even simulate gusts of wind and different forces. So yeah, should be pretty cool.
Nice.
And then I think we're gonna also have puddles too, that'll be pretty cool too.
Yeah, I wonder how we're gonna create the puddles. Are they gonna be an object?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. There's a few. I mean, it'll probably also be particles. But yeah, we haven't figured out 100% sure what the best way will be. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll probably mainly be like around the drain that she jumps over.
Yeah, which
John
that's also new too.
Yeah, John, do you want to, since we're discussing the rain and how the water, can engage with the environment here, let's take a look at the beautiful drain that you modeled, as well as all the texturing on the curb with the displacement, which
yeah,
looks really
definitely.
good.
Yeah. So,
It looks really good. It looks amazing.
Yeah. And
That's
I haven't added displacement yet to here and here, but I will. So you can see the difference actually pretty well. So see, it still does a pretty good job faking
with the normal.
Faking it.
With the normal.
Yeah.
But from certain angles you can really see that it's flat. Whereas with this it's not.
It's displaced, yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, and just kind of go down the curb, John, to where some of that big imperfection was down here.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, that's one of the best spots right there.
Cool.
And so it's such a great sort of organic and random pattern, which is nice.
Yeah. So.
And the only reason we're going into such detail here is because we do have that close-up shot of Enid.
Exactly.
Jumping over the drain. But then when we move across the street, we don't have to go into, as much detail for things in the background. So we're really trying to be efficient with, looking at each shot and what's needed for that shot to upgrade it to its best potential. And
exactly.
The rest of it kind of leave as is.
Yeah, the items that are really close, we have like extreme close-ups on them. So these have like millions of polygons in them so that they have the right detail for the shot. But like, and so the street, I put displacement on 2, you could see, but I didn't put it on. So that street, this panel, so you could see, that panel of street has like, I think 5 million polygons or something like that. Whereas this one is just 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Here I can actually we can look at the polygons there.
Yeah, and again, as we built this out, just sort of with building blocks with set pieces so that, each one of those could have a certain amount of detail, more or less, depending on what we're seeing. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And then it's also nanite, so it actually when it goes over here, it uses less polygons, which is
Yes.
pretty cool too.
Very cool.
This will be a dream sequence.
Yeah, totally.
That'd be rad. Puppets are out there with chalk coloring in the sidewalk.
Very cool. Oh wow! Look at the grate there.
Yeah,
It's
pretty cool.
it's very detailed. Well, cool. Let's take a look at the. I saw that we have the orphanarium in there, colored.
Yeah,
we did-
I can't remember for sure if we actually had it colored the last time or not. But
Looks
I
amazing.
feel like it was, but if not, here it is.
Yeah, yeah.
and maybe not the final. I think the blue is blending in a little bit too much with the sky, so we may reverse the colors so that the main base color is purple and then the trim is blue. But something where we can work with Julie to just look at those colors, make sure it looks good at night, but I think more importantly, make sure it looks good in the day. We'll probably see it a lot more in the daytime in the future. So that's something that we'll get to, once this is all finalized and we move into the rumpus room animation for the bulk of the pilot, we'll be able to go back to this and bring up the sun and see what it looks like during the day so that we make sure that we make any adjustments there that could work for both. Or we may have two different levels where we have a nighttime version and a daytime version. And if there's some things that change, I mean, obviously continuity would be the same, but depending on what we see, we probably will see a lot more during the day as far as maybe what's between the houses or what's down at the end of the road. Right now, we're probably getting away with a lot just having it be nighttime. So yeah, daytime will be really cool to see what it looks like.
How much of the inside is modeled of the mansion there?
None of it.
None of it.
Yeah, nothing in there.
Good. It's just nice.
Studs, yeah, 2x4s.
Nice.
But I could go in and model it.
Well, no, I mean, right. I mean,
or,
I guess
or like we were thinking like we may want to model like a little room or something, maybe put actual windows in there and just have like really kind of blank stuff, nothing like crazy, but just a floor and walls or something.
Yeah.
Just so that we can turn on a light,
Some curtains or a chandelier, a lamp, something like that to give a good silhouette, kind of like we did across the street. Those houses have incredibly detailed interiors that we actually, I think, John, did you delete some of those layers from some of those rooms just so we weren't having to?
Well, it's actually like so
did.
much work to delete the stuff on here. So I deleted like half of this house over here, remember? Or I deleted the garage, but yeah, I think that was all I ended up deleting because it was kind of they're set up as blueprints, so it's not as easy. I think I had turned my light off in here, so here we'll go online. And yeah, and it's raining inside of these houses.
And that leaky roof.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's weird that the roof doesn't stop it. But
yeah.
Set it up that way.
I think every vertical surface
we also
gets
the gate right here.
Yeah.
The picket fence goes through.
Nice.
Very strange houses there.
That's where the kids play.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick look at the animation.
Yeah. we got first pass of animation from Josh. We're not going to play any audio right now, just as we work on lip sync and some dialogue may change here or there, but we'll be able to at least show it off and some good basic animation shots here.
Cool. So this is the whole sequence. Nice. That's the first. She jumps in. And then she runs in the middle of the street. Well, this is a shot from the house.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
have Preston and Franklin in the foreground there looking out the window.
And here is, she walks in the middle of the street. And she gets splashed.
Yeah, and then we're going to work on the head shake a little bit. So some of that close-up animation will have to be finessed.
Yeah.
And then nothing animated here yet. This is still just animatic.
Yeah.
From John's original performance for timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's great is, John and I are able to block out all the scenes and do some temp animatic animation. And then we hand over a file to Josh with all the dimensions, architecture in the street, and the timing of the shots. And then he's able to go in and Maya. And this is the first pass at the animation. And then we plug it back in on our end. And John and Josh kind of go back and forth, tweaking things as we upload them.
Yeah.
And that shot right there, I still is going to be one of my favorites. We haven't worked on depth of field yet with the camera, so there's only, I think, 2 shots here. We were able to get into that. I think that horizon line shot of her running out is just beautiful because of the reflection of the moon.
Yeah.
How soft everything is really brings her into nice detail and focus, which is kind of the point of that shot is she's mumbling to herself. So it's a little private moment there between the audience and Enid.
Yeah.
Cool. This is a beautiful beginning shot. Now the car driving by.
Yeah.
A little depth of field on that close up. And then John, pause on this.
On the
next shot.
Yeah.
And let's look at those 2 back to back. Maybe you could just toggle between the end frame.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that's really starting to look nice. Good detail on Enid again. Able to get soft out of focus. I really like the street lamps. We're not seeing the moon in this shot. We had it in earlier, but I thought it was a little distracting, and we wanted to concentrate more on her dialogue. So if you go to the next shot, John, this is a really nice composition where we show off the moon as well as the oncoming car.
Nice.
Yep, then we have the street lights. So if you can just see where the lighting is kind of coming from, we have that beautiful reflection from the moon on the road and kicking off the cars, which is really nice. Like that's a cool effect. So we could see them a little bit more in detail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then just those street lamps peppered in down the sidewalk to give you some depth.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we'll probably even intensify the headlights on the ground. Although, they do look pretty cool already.
Yeah, we'll probably want to put in a lens flare of some sort. So we'll take a look at that. And we'll also have the headlights of the car to the right, the car that's coming from behind.
Right. That one has to cast.
Those lights will be right on Enid, right? So it's like she's kind of deer in the headlights, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if we need to do that. We're going to have to really do that nighttime effect, right? So the headlights pointing towards the viewer should almost be kind of like blinding, right? They should really take over.
Right.
And then the other one, is gonna,
I just think maybe bringing up the intensity on those and then adding a lens flare, coming from behind Enid could be nice.
This car doesn't actually have headlights yet, I don't think. So that'll help with it.
Yeah, and that car should really cast a lot of light too.
I can even have them be spotlights so that they are a little bit more intense even.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we're going to add some clouds in as well to silhouette that moon a little bit. And so John's been working on designing some clouds up there because, it is raining. So we do need a bit of a cloudy night, but it's more partly cloudy, probably the back end of a storm. Yeah. And we'll see the nice moon up there, but we'll get, some clouds up there to give a nice silhouette to it and add a little bit of brightness from behind, so the clouds are getting sort of backlit.
Yeah.
And that'll help define the sky a little bit more. Right now, it just kind of looks gray and foggy, but we'll art direct that to have a nice look.
Cool.
Yeah. Probably by next time that'll be all in there.
Do we have the sequence inside the dumbwaiter? Or the level inside the dumbwaiter?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's take a look what the progress there.
Yeah, so one thing we did, I don't think we showed this off. Yeah, I don't think so, because we only did the dumbwaiter, I think, in episode 3 or 4. But we did start to art direct the hallway a little bit, and brought in some of Julie's paintings. And right now, just sketching in ideas for her to look at.
Yeah.
And then she can kind of see, oh yeah, okay, now I get the idea. This is what the hallway looks like. Let's try this painting or that painting. So we did update that, which is really nice. And we'll see where that fits in with our sequence. I mean, I always thought of the title sequence being a true title sequence coming after the intro before Act 2, but we could also just put it as end credits as well, and maybe just see Enid pop out of the dumbwaiter, but not see her journey with the titles and all that. But that's something we can play around with in the edit.
Yeah.
But it's looking pretty good. Maybe change out the wallpaper. Things like that, but
yeah,
here we are.
All right, we got some new items in the paintings.
Yeah.
Sorry, my lighting here is a little crazy.
Where is Enid?
Where is Enid?
Maybe she's oh no, she's there.
She's in her trailer. Somebody get Enid on set.
Is she not visible? It's visible.
These puppets are hard to wrangle sometimes, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Visibility.
I have a feeling that if I just play the sequence through, she'll appear.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll probably give like a little bit of a shake or a rumble to the camera.
Yeah. When it stops.
Yeah. Do a little camera shake.
Yeah, just so like we kind of feel the rumble. I think the sound design will go a long way, as well as we hear the pulley. And we're on this journey with Enid. We'll have some music as well. The typewriter coming in for the titles. We have some other shots, obviously, that we're cutting into this. Dumbwaiter scene, which will be a lot of the historical photos to tell sort of the background history of the puppets. And
so she's gonna be dripping wet here still, right? So we'll have
yeah, and John had discussed, we could always amp up how wet she is. She'd probably maybe come back a little drier by here, but yeah, we'll definitely give her a damp look. Still discussing the sign and how far she carries that. I think she'll probably leave it at the front steps or at the front door in that last shot as she walks up the stairs in the exterior. So we won't have to deal with the sign for this sequence.
Yeah.
I think it's played its role by now.
Right.
Very cool. So, and this is the same level that has the Rumpus room, right? Or is this a separate level?
It's a separate level.
Oh. Nice. The paintings look amazing.
Yeah.
Painting looks great. We put some historical photos on the wall, and then dressed into the side there, just a little, teacup and some plates just to hammer home the dumbwaiter idea.
Yeah.
I don't think we put we're gonna put the historical photos in. I think that's just frames right now.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure those black and white ones. I forgot.
Yeah, I think they're just like a random image. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll get with Julie and see.
Cool.
what she'd like to see here. But yeah, looking good. We have those sconces in there.
Yeah.
The little radiator. Those things are balanced. We'll have the title come up here, Julie Adams' Plague Puppets, and then Enid will pop up off the dumbwaiter and head towards the rumpus room.
So cool. Let's take a look at the Rumpus room. Let's see what is at right now, and then I think we reviewed all of the new work that has been done
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot done in the last couple weeks.
Totally. It's just got to build. This is the first time.
Oh, you opened it on this PC?
With the new cache.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, things are moving really fast now.
We've upgraded my computer quite a bit since the last episode.
We're running on a 490 right now.
Yeah.
Top of the line commercial NVIDIA.
Which is pretty sweet.
Right. We added 32 gigabytes of RAM. We added a bunch of disk space.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of good stuff. It's running really well now.
It's so great to see an audience of puppets out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are all just stand-ins for now, obviously, including Preston and Franklin, which need final design. But yeah, just trying to figure out our bearings here within the rumpus room. Preston and Franklin having a conversation in the conversation pit over there in the living room area. Mm-hmm. And then in the intro of this scene, we'll sort of be introduced to the rumpus room, have puppets, doing different things in the corners, playing around.
Nice.
Should I play it through?
Yeah, why don't you? Yeah, we have these shots in here.
I mean, this is Enid walking in, sad. And yeah, something happens here we don't want to give out yet.
Yeah, but they're all gonna get together for a little late night show here in the rumpus room. So it's gonna be a lot of fun characters. Some cool little vignettes, little skits that we do in here will be a lot of fun. So really able to now introduce the world of the puppets and where they live and their sort of daily activities and musings up there. Couple audience shots. And then we'll see Enid start to join the party. Crawls under the couch. Bloop. We'll see if that
Nice.
sticks. But I love that shot.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sweet. She doesn't technically fit under the couch.
That's the only
we don't have to squeeze her up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're soft.
Yeah,
The camera does. So
she can get in there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like a cat.
Yeah, maybe we see a portal under there in a future episode. And a lot of this was just figuring out like basic blocking for shots that we can go back to. So we'll be shooting this in sort of a late night meets sitcom environment. And by that, I mean, like with sitcoms, typically 3 cameras, at least the old school days, that's what sitcoms were shot in that format. And so we're utilizing a little bit of that as well as late night, looking at David Letterman and Conan O'Brien, shows like that we love. And looking at how they shoot, audience shots and the announcer, the host. So that's just sort of us testing out a bunch of shots here into the intro to see, what could work and then what we can go back to. At this point, every shot was a unique shot to tell that part of the story in Act 1. But now that we're in this format, we can set up 3 to 5 cameras that are locked off that we can always cut back to in the edit. And then within there, we can do some crane moves, handheld moves, 2 shots, close-ups, things like that are a little bit more unique to the script. But this will give us a good batch of cameras to go back to for different performances.
John, can we try? I mean, it looks amazing. Can we try a little experiment? Can we try to change the scale of a couple of the puppets and see what it looks like when they are just slightly different? And I know that this is just like
Sure.
Yeah, these guys and maybe the ones on the couch a little bit too. Yeah, I think if we have a good, 10 to 15% variance
Yeah.
in height, that'll just make things not look so robotic. And obviously, each puppet is handmade and crafted and has its own little intricacies to it. So
yeah.
we don't want to feel like they were, manufactured in a toy line or something like that. So a little bit of personality.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because the 4 base models that we have so far, are meant for NFTs, where the traits should be easily interchangeable.
Right.
I wonder if, then maybe we can also design a couple of extra bodies that just for this.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, it just gives it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, definitely makes it, less. And then once they're gonna have their clothes and their hats.
Yeah, definitely. Because a lot of the hats, even though they're sculpted to the same, base pelt for the head, but we have obviously different heights with the different hats. Yeah, and well, again, like even Preston and Franklin, they're on different furniture, so their height's a little bit different. These guys are the triplets there that
Nice.
look better in different sizes.
Yeah. Even the little adjustments made a difference.
Definitely.
Totally.
Cool.
And we're going to try out some different rugs. Julie sent over. She was able to go into some of her art pieces and lock off on certain sections.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this rug, we'll probably swap this out so it's not so bright. And still, a lot of set dressing to do. It's pretty empty right now. But before we clutter it up with all that information, we want to get all the basics down first.
Very cool. This is some amazing progress. It's starting to look, starting to take shape more and more.
Yeah, and I think once we're, sort of locked into the rumpus room here and we're not dealing with the exterior neighborhood and the rain effects and having each shot be unique, we'll get into a rhythm here in the next couple of weeks with the script and the dialogue. And again, that's kind of why I set up these cameras, because I think we'll go back to them a lot within Act 2. So now that we have this set up and we have an understanding of the space, I think it'll be a lot of fun to get in there and start playing.
Cool.
And again, we're green screening the windows so we could make it daytime or nighttime. Obviously, we'll do a little rain. Maybe we'll see the moon out the window. But again, almost like a late night show, we can have some city lights back there and something like that, like you would traditionally see in the background. So that could be kind of fun, and we can really use those windows as to bring things to life in different ways. So
I mean, the rendering quality of Unreal 5 is incredible. It looks amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right.
Looking good.
Shall we end this stream, and we're gonna probably do another one either by the end of this week or early next week. We have
Yeah, definitely.
we'll we'll bring some of our other artists on, and yeah, maybe cover some of the. We're working on hats and grooming. We're gonna redo the grooming for Unreal 5, so that could be an interesting technical stream coming up.
Yeah.
And then taking a look at Preston's hat, because that's a good test
Yeah.
model for us. So we get into some of those unique designs for each character, which will be nice. So they have their own personality and look and feel to them. So yeah, going to be really cool to test out the technology and work with Alex on the new grooms.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. Hopefully, this was interesting and engaging. We'll have a lot more, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, everybody.